Yo, what is good, my peoples? Happy Friday. Hope it was well. Um, so you guys know every once in a while I like to do these kind of videos where like I showcase an album, not really do a review, but kind of like show you guys my thoughts, like an overview and stuff like that. Um, and so I want to do that today. But before I start, the reason why I'm doing this video is because on Wednesday night, right after work, I was on IG and there's a hip hop page that I follow, and they posted this the video for Hez Ain't Ready Part Two by Bootcamp Click. I think it was like the anniversary for that album, or the case may be. And then I see people posting comments saying like, "Oh, the album's a classic," blah blah blah. And I mean, to his own on that. I don't think that album was a classic. I think the album was horrible. I like maybe like 4 or 5 tracks off the album, and that was it. Um, you know, uh, Shout out to Sean P. Rest in peace to the Barbarian, Sean the Barbarian, Sean Price. I seen a interview a couple years back when they were recording. They were like this was like the Magnum Force era, where Sean Price was like he didn't want to be he didn't want the group or himself to be pigeonholed to that beat minor sound, which was like the filtered bass lines and hard drums and that kind of thing. So I think beat miners and that whole the whole group were kind of like going at it or whatever the case may be. And I don't know. This is one of the different. They had like creative differences and stuff like that, and he didn't want to be pigeonholed to that sound. So that's why like if you listen to Magnum Force, doesn't really have that beat miners production at that staple sound of the boot camp click. And but the album was okay. I did a review on that album. To me, it is underrated. I didn't like the album at first, but I listened to it. It's not as bad as I thought. But that one is a gift and a curse. Um, is a blessing. I would say it was a blessing in disguise, just because of the fact that Sean Price reinvented himself as an MC. So the Sean Price we all loved and endeared, during the monkey bars era, like the 2000, the 2000 teens and stuff like that we all loved. I feel like that Sean P was born on Magnum Force. You know what I mean? If you listen to the album, how he rhymes and stuff like that. Yeah, he was pretty much the shining star of that album. With Nocturnal, I feel like Rock was the shining star, my personal opinion. But on the second album, Sean P was the shining star. And getting back to the with Bootcamp Click, it was the same thing. Like I guess they didn't want to, be stuck with the beat minor sound. But I feel like as a first album, as a group, I think that's very risky as a group. Because when you think of Bootcamp Click, you think of the beat miners. You think of hard bass lines, filtered bass lines, hard drums, dusty horns and things like that. With the Bootcamp Click album, for the people, they didn't do that. They did a complete opposite, and the album didn't really fit very well. But I know there's some people that do like the album, but I not one of those people. But enough of that. Because of that post, it inspired me to show you guys the album of the day, Black Moon, Digging in the Vaults. This was released in 1996. So this is somewhat of a controversial release. Reason being is because you guys know at the time Black Moon was under Nervous Records, right? They put out Enter the Stage, classic album. I think the album only sold like $350,000, but with those sales, they never saw any money coming from that. And Black Moon, felt some type of way. I mean, everybody worked. Like, I don't work for free. Like, this is not a charity case. You know what I mean? And with that being said, the group owed the record label a second album. They refused to put out the album or record any type of material, and because of that, out of spite, Nervous Records had put out this release, which obviously was not it wasn't permitted by the group themselves. So this is like a bootleg. It was unofficially released. You know what I mean? It's not the first time that happened before. Mobb Deep shared the same fate with Infamous Archives that released in 2007 and that kind of thing. But I want to talk about this because it's a very important project. Um, so pretty much this is a compilation album of like remixes and B sides and stuff like that that they make the album that you only can get on vinyl, like on the singles and stuff like that. So they did everything. You know, they got all the songs that was on vinyl and stuff like that. And some like new songs, like exclusive songs, and they put it on one CD. I actually have the vinyl version of this album too. I found it at a thrift store years ago for like $1. It was a double vinyl too. That thrift store I believe is out of business. I haven't seen it since. So, but I got it for like $1. So hell yeah. So with that being said, let's get into some of the songs. Then we got How Many MCs, the Evil D remix. That was cool, but I'm more of a fan of the original version. Act Like You Wanted, the Evil D remix. That shit was dope. I really enjoyed that. That was a pretty dope joint right there. The beat was dope. Then you got track three, Shit Is Real, new vocals by Buckshot. I could have done without that only because it's not anything new. The only difference with this is that the song is edited. That's the only difference. So that was a bit of a ploy. Could have done without that. That was a cool track, but now it's a dope track, but the edited version just kind of like yeah nah. Sunk at Wreck, the Evil D remix, that was dope too. That was pretty good. You the Man, Evil D remix, that shit goes hard. Love the beat for that. I actually preferred this version over the album version on Enter the Stage. I like the beat for that. That was pretty good. Buckshot freestyle joint. I could have done without that too. I think this one, I think he freestyles over the You the Man's instrumental or something like that. It's been a while since I heard the album. Again, it's like an overview, just going by, what I remember from the album. Then you got a song called "Fuck It Up," which was recorded in 1992. That was a pretty cool track. It was cool to hear what they sounded like back in like 91, 92. Um, you could tell it was supposed to be recorded for Enter the Stage, but I'm kind of glad it didn't go on the album because it didn't really fit the album. It wouldn't have fit the album because it's kind of like upbeat. It's kind of like a fast paced jazz sample and that kind of thing. It's just I don't think it would have fit the album personally. Then you got the infamous "I Got You Open" remix with the Barry White sample. Oh my god, this shit goes hard. Love this song. Love this. This is a hip hop staple. It's a New York hip hop staple, New York City staple song in my opinion. When I think of New York City, especially back in the '90s, "I Got You Open" remix is definitely one of those songs that it definitely to me captures New York in its prime, in my personal opinion. Yeah, really dope. Love the video for it. Funny story, "I Got You Open." Evil D said that at the time he was, he used to talk to this chick, and him being a DJ and a producer, he pretty much ransacked his girl's parents' record collection. That was that Barry White sample, and and then I remember Buckshot wanted Evil D to flip that sample. It was like, nice sample. I ain't flipping that. I don't want to flip that. But then they ended up doing it, and so everything was like from the sample, from the drums, to the sample, the way he flipped it was so fucking dope, man. Really, really dope. Then you got the Buck 'em Down remix. Love the video for it. Dope song. My personal opinion, I prefer the original that was on Enter the Stage over this version. That's just my personal opinion. I love the beat for it. It's very dark and gritty. Really, really dope. Um, Track 10, Murder MCs. Fucking love that track. Really, really solid. Really dope. Um, yeah, love that song. That shit just goes hard, man. And you got track 11, Heads Ain't Ready, um, which it uses a different beat because the original version that I like is on the New Jersey Drive soundtrack. I prefer that version. This version has it uses the Payback sample by James Brown. Can't You See use that sample as well. Sorry, Total with Can't You See off the New Jersey Drive soundtrack also use that sample for that song. It uses the same sample, but I prefer the original version that was on the New Jersey Drive soundtrack. And track 12, 6 Feet Deep, This shit goes hard. Love the song. I could definitely see that being on Enter the Stage, but it didn't make the album. Um, yeah, really, really dope. My only gripe, I would have replaced Buckshot Freestyle Joint and Shit Is Real for real a reality killing every nigga. That would have been perfect for this compilation. I would have replaced that. I would have put that song and this song to replace Shit Is Real, and track 6 Buckshot Freestyle. I would have replaced that for Niggas Talk Shit remix. Fire. That it uses the Miles Davis Bitches Blues sample. Fire. I love that joint. I rarely hear people talk about that. Now get into this album again. This album is long out of print. Good luck trying to find it because it's really hard to come by. I got lucky. I got this back in the early 2000s, so like early to mid 2000s. I don't remember. It's been so long. I want to say like early 2000s. I got this album, but even back then it was hard to find. I think I ordered it somewhere. I think like on Amazon or whatever the case. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm so glad I got this album. Yes, it was put out illegally by the group. By the record label, but if you guys like, the singles, like the B-side singles and all that stuff, the remixes of the '90s, I highly recommend you guys checking this album out, man. It goes for a lot of money online. I've seen it on eBay go for like $25 and up usually. I went on Amazon and I saw it for like $300 for the copy, for a CD copy. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. It's good, but it's not that good to pay $300. No CD is, in my personal opinion. Definitely want to break the bank. I could justify you paying $300 if it was like a CD lot, of like 20 CDs or something. I can understand that, or like depending on the type of albums too. But yeah, really dope album. It's actually on Spotify, on Apple Music, and that kind of thing. So definitely check it out. And like I said, because them not refusing to record an album for Nervous Records, they actually got sued, or I think Black Moon sued the record label, or it was the other way around. And because of that, the record label owned the name Black Moon. That's why, like, if you notice from 1993 to 1999, they haven't really put out any material because they couldn't legally. They couldn't because they didn't own the name. The record label did. So it wasn't until like I think like '98, um, they settled suit, and they gained their rights back and that kind of thing. And that's why in 1999 they put out Warzone. Black Moon is the second album, another dope album, another underrated album in my personal opinion. This album doesn't get talked about a lot. When people talk about Black Moon, they always talk about Enter the Stage, but I think these two projects for me are just as good. Obviously, Enter the Stage is the magnum opus, but this is a really good album. It has the singles of this album. I believe are two turntables and a mic, and what was the other one? This is what it sounds like. World Wind. My only gripe with this album was the single choices. I didn't really like the single choices. Two turntables and a mic. It uses that sample. I forgot the name of the sample, but this was like around the time in the late '90s where a lot of East Coast acts would sample like early '80s hip hop singles and stuff like that. Just like with Def Squad would I think it was a song Full Cooperation where they sampled the message. I forgot the single, but I didn't really like that song. They would do shit like that, and case in point, OC with Dangerous. They sampled I think it was the song Eighth Wonders of the World. I think is the name of the song that they sampled from. But that was like a big thing in the late '90s in the East Coast, and they followed suit, and I just was not a fan. Now get into the album again. Different sound. It's a little bit more polished compared to Enter the Stage, but it still had a grit to it. It had like a more futuristic sound to it, but it's still boom bap. If that makes sense. I mean, you got songs like Onslaught with Busta Rhymes. That shit goes hard. For all y'all with Headed B, that shit goes hard. 1-2, that shit goes hard. Annihilation with MOP and Teflon, that shit goes hard. The rest, throw your hands in the air. Really, really dope album. Really solid, super underrated. But it's a good album. Definitely check it out when you guys get a chance. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase that because I was like in a boot camp mood, and that post on IG kind of inspired me to bring these out the vaults and talk a little bit about the album. And I did reviews on these albums, but I just wanted to like showcase these albums and stuff like that. Because again, it's an album. Those are albums I rarely hear people talk about. But that's it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think about these two projects. Digging in the Vaults, Black Moon, Warzone by Black Moon, released in '99. This is released in '96. Um, oh, and that's another thing too. Like if you go on the Duck Down website, a lot of the early albums you can't really find on that website. I think it's really because of the prior because at the time they were under I think priority. They had to deal with Priority Records, and depending on the artist, a lot of the Priority releases are kind of hard to find. They're like out of print and never went back to print. Case in point, the Nocturnal album by Helter Skelter, um, the Storm album by OGC. Those albums always tend to be kind of hard to find and very expensive too. And surprisingly, it's not even on Duck Down website. Their selection on the CDs are kind of like limited, if you will. It's kind of sad too because those albums like that is like what made the record label for what it is. And it's pretty sad, man. Because like people won't be able to enjoy those albums unless you get a digital um, listen, but it's not the same, man. Like to me, like getting the vinyl or a CD or cassette, just listen to that in that form is like a different level, in my personal opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. All right, peace.